Streaming live on WURDRadio.com, on social, and on the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back, Soulful Sunrisers. It is Friday, January 9th, 2026, Progressive Black Talk Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, WURD Radio app, and WURDRadio.com. Welcome back. Welcome to the show and Happy New Year. Our guest today is Eric Fitman Brown. I can't even say he's a guest anymore. He's a contributor to Soulful Sunrise, the CEO of Fitman Performance and Physique Center in Abington, PA. Did I say that right? Yes?
Yes, you did. Happy New Year, Karen.
Happy New Year. You know, Fitman is a certified master trainer, a licensed master barber. He is an NGA Pro Natural Bodybuilder, USATF Master Sprinter. Lord have mercy. A master, what else? Happy New Year. I just wanted to add some joy and some levity to it this morning. Oh my God. Let's talk about this. Let's get into this. First of all, I was asking Fahim about the Golden Globes. It's totally off topic, but it's this Sunday. Do you know any of the movies? Have you seen any of the movies nominated? Other than Sinners, if you saw Sinners.
Look, I'm just like you. Sinners needs to win. That's who I'm rooting for, okay?
Right,
that's who I'm rooting for, okay?
Let's talk about this new year, though, because we're 9 days in, Fitman. And people, some of the excitement is kind of wearing off now. Now it's about that consistency. And so you said, I want to talk about routine versus motivation. So why do you think that when we start a brand new year or we start with the number one, there's so much fanfare and excitement? And then day 3, we're like, oh gosh, what did I sign up for? So talk about routine versus motivation as a trainer, a master trainer, I say.
Well, Karen, thanks for having me first. I don't think that most people struggle because of a lack of effort. We see people go to the gym and they start new diets. Where they struggle is from a lack of having structure. Having a structured program. So when the year starts, there's a whole bunch of fanfare. It's a fresh year. You're all fired up. But like you said, a couple days and weeks go by and the fanfare starts to wane. The new car scent starts to fade a bit. And now all of a sudden you have to get into a routine. And that's why having structure, having a structured training program, a structured diet, a structured sleep schedule, all these things are important when it comes to actually reaching your goal this year.
So true. And, you know, you talk about small habits, big wins. And the other day, literally, Fitman, you were in my head. I mentioned it on my show this week because it was cold and I did not want to go for my walk. And all I heard you say from the show is, I don't care if the Eagles are playing, go for a walk. I don't care if this is happening, go for a walk. So you know what I did? I went for a walk and I felt so good after. So small habits, big wins. What are some simple, repeatable habits with your movement that today our Soulful Sunrisers can anchor for the month of January to propel them to February and so forth?
Well, I think that the first thing that people should do, and this is very important, and this is a big point, we have to start by setting specific goals instead of just broad goals, right? So someone saying, I want to lose weight, that doesn't actually hold any weight. Someone saying, I want to lose 10 pounds, now all of a sudden, it's measurable, it's objective. That's got to be the first step in any program. Do I have objective goals that I can actually reach and attain versus just a general vague goal? Because also a vague goal doesn't have any accountability attached to it. It's easier to walk away from it.
And that's what I was going to say, accountability, right? We need that accountability, but also to even when you have that structure and you have that goal, celebrate your win. If you work out 3 days, celebrate that. If you work out for 30 minutes in a day, or if you break it up 15, celebrate it. Why is it important for us to also celebrate the wins? Because I think we as a people, we wait for the big finish line to happen, right? That red carpet to showcase our bodies. But if you're in it and doing it, why not celebrate it? That you actually put you first.
I want you to think about this. The one who enjoys the journey will go further than the one who just wants to get to the destination. And that goes right into what you just said. Every day is a small victory. When I train my clients at my gym, I talk about it every day. It's brick by brick. Are you 1% better today? Because it's those small wins over time that eventually lead us to the better body or the better performance in the sport or fitting the clothes better. It's the small wins over time. So we have to have that long vision. We can't just have this short view of, well, if I don't have it in a month, then all of a sudden it's all over. No, you're just getting started.
But let me celebrate you. Why I brought that up? I saw your TV appearance, brother. Yes. 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 I said, look at my Fitman Fitman. Congratulations. I want to celebrate your win.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Awesome. Leading me to consistency. You had a goal. You knew what you wanted to do as it relates to building the business, having the business, but bringing energy and eyeballs to it. Put that into someone starting the word, one of the consistency and intensity, with strength training being the foundation. I'm noticing in the gym this week and last week, everyone is lifting weights. I mean, everyone. Talk about the important, especially for women listening, why we need to incorporate weights into our routine. Please.
So Karen, I think we talked about this a few months ago in terms of the importance of building strength. And if we're talking about it in terms of adults, here's the issue. As we age, as we mature, if you're not training, you're losing muscle mass, you're losing strength. The things that you had naturally in your early 20s and your mid 20s, even in your late 20s, starts to fade a bit once you cross 30, once you cross 40. But the way to ensure that you retain and still build is you've got to pump iron. You've got to lift weights, but you've got to do it with the proper form. Because one thing that you just said, when a lot of folks come into the gym when the new year starts, they're just doing stuff they saw on social media. They're doing stuff they saw in a magazine. There's no real structure or programming or attention to detail behind it. And that could lead to injury.
Think about, I want you to talk about this. You just said it's social media and there's a plethora of YouTube training. And I love them. Trust and believe. I love them in the comfort of my house, or if I'm traveling in a hotel, I can do that workout. But I fear that one of the things that people are not doing, and I'm observing it in the gym because I'm working with a trainer, form. Form is so important when lifting weights and working out, especially that you don't want to injure yourself, right? Can you talk about what people should be aware of when working out and using a device as social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, workouts? Their form, so they don't injure themselves, please?
Well, the first thing is this. You've got plenty of time to get stronger and more muscular. You've only got one time to suffer a bad injury. And that might be all she wrote, Karen. Okay. When it comes to form on YouTube, there's a lot of credible professionals who are on YouTube who teach proper form. But here's the thing. A lot of times they get buried in the algorithm. And because it's not trendy, because it's not flashy, because it doesn't have all the bells and the whistles, many people never get to it. And then they go to the trendy things, which can get them hurt.
Yeah. This week, the New York Times launched a series on brain health and how to stave off inflammation, chronic ailments, dementia, Alzheimer's. And across the board, the number one thing, of course, can you tell me what it was?
I did not read the article, but I'm going to say, based off of how we've been talking today, I think probably strength training.
Exercise, just exercise.
Exercise in general. Okay.
Yes, just movement of the body. The brain needs it to regenerate. I mean, of course, there's eating right. There's other things, doing something different every day, but exercise, that they cannot deny what exercise does to the brain. So as a master certified trainer, a bodybuilder, so many different things added to your title, please tell our Soulful Sunrisers, and I asked you this about our seniors as it relates to exercise. Maybe they don't have free weights, but they have like gallon jugs and they can use. Can you just talk about ways that they can incorporate safe exercise and form?
Well, if we start with just 3 basic movement patterns, okay? So the first one could be a squat. Now, let's say you don't have a squat rack at home or a barbell or any of those things. You can start at the beginning, which is a body weight squat. You can squat down to a chair and stand up.
Or leaning your back against the wall and do that squat for support, right?
You can also do that, okay? So you have ways to do this in terms of doing it at home without having all the big weights. Now, when it comes to pushing, if you have a table that has an elevated platform, you can start doing push-ups. Now, maybe you can't do a push-up on the floor yet, but you start with the table. You might need to start with the wall. Start with something simple just to get the movement in. And I'm glad that you brought up the gallon jugs or things like that. You can also do the pulling, the rowing. So you can kind of do like a bent over row with one arm and start with the gallon jug. These are all basic things just to get the process started.
When I hear my trainer say, "Go harder, Karen, go harder," what the heck does that mean? Because I feel like I'm going harder. When you coaches tell us that, what are you saying to us? Break it down.
So I was just having this conversation with a client yesterday, and I said, most of the time that I train throughout my life, I've trained alone. But if I train with some of my long-term training partners, I get about 10% more out of that workout. So a good personal trainer can perceive and see, okay, she still has some more gas in the tank. He can see what you cannot see. Okay, he or she can see. So go harder or push more is just a perception of, you know what? I think she's got 5 more reps in the tank. I think she can do 3 more burpees, even though you have made up in your mind, oh, I'm done.
Right. But you're right, though. Just hearing that go harder, Karen, makes me literally tap in someplace like a reserve, and then I release that. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you for yelling. Not really yelling, but coaching me to push myself. And that is why I think that we need Fitman, Fade Man. We need coaches and trainers to push us. Let me ask you, in your tank, for your toolbox for 2026, are there things that you personally working at? Or we've been drawing the circle. We just finished the other day. We did 40 days of a prayer challenge where we were manifesting things. We started in 2025. So I've been asking folks, what's in your tank? Like, what are you manifesting or intentionally attracting for 2026? I see the microphone came in 2025. Right? I see the pitch came in 2025, 2026, the TV appearance. I'm rooting for everybody black. But what do you have in your toolbox that you're like, you know what? Because I say that because sometimes we forget that when we do the work with consistency, it is our birthright to get to the next. What does that look like for you, Fitman?
Well, the next for me is continuing to spread this awareness, especially in the Black community, about health, about fitness, about strength, about nutrition. Because again, I work with mainly Black people at my gym, and I've seen where folks have started on day one, and I've watched these great progression stories over time. I've seen how health has changed their lives. I've seen how fitness has changed their lives. My goal in 2026 is to spread that message to more people in the Philadelphia area, and in the Montgomery County area, in the Delaware County area, to really spread this out, because health has such a major impact, a positive impact on our lives. So just continuing to spread awareness about the power of health, the power of fitness, and the power of strength.
When we come back after the break, I want to talk about the other component that goes with the workout, the consistency, the routine, the structure, and it's the nutrition component, right? You could work out as much as you want. My trainer always tells me, but he's like, if you're eating that extra piece of this. So I want to talk about that nutrition component, because sometimes we forget about that. And also some protein powders that are good for us that have limited ingredients, maybe like 5, like Truvani or whatever. So just noodle on those things. You are listening to Soulful Sunrise on Friday, Fun Friday, January 9th, 2026. Our guest this morning, our expert this morning, is Eric Fitman Brown, CEO of Fitman Performance and Physique Center. Yes. Taking your questions, 215-634-8065. Don't wait for 6:55 to ask him a question, though. He will not be here. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back, Soulful Sunrise, on this Friday, January 9th, 2026. It is Friday. I want everybody to just say Friday. We've come so far, and now it's time to make sure you are powering up. 900 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, WURD Radio app, and WURDRadio.com. Our expert this morning, our contributor to the show, is Fitman Fademan, Eric Brown, CEO of Fitman Performance and Physique Center. Fitman, I want you to know that Brother Joseph, Sis Tracy, Sis Shirley, everybody's in the chat talking. Brother Joseph said he's at the gym now listening and watching Soulful Sunrise, and he's about to be a personal trainer, he says. He's in Florida. Fantastic. He's in the state of Florida. But one of the questions he was talking about was the cost. So he's at his development working out. But let's just, take a step back and talk about the nutritional component, because sometimes we miss that. 2026 is a brand new year. We have brand new thoughts, brand new ideas. What do we need to know about how nutrition marries fitness, strength training, and so forth? Talk about that.
Well, the first thing, Karen, listen, you could train 7 days a week like Rocky Balboa, okay? If your diet is similar to that of Homer J. Simpson, I'm telling you, you will get stronger and you will get more fit, but your body will not change. There's no complete program that can be done without proper nutrition. And it's not just the type of food and the quality of the food. Those are important parts. It's also the quantity, because that is what will impact whether you can lose body fat or not.
So when you say quantity, this week, the administration changed the food pyramid, and the food pyramid now is inverted. So on the top of the food pyramid is your meat and other things, right? That used to be, it's the triangles at the bottom now, and on top is your meat and so forth. So they did not suggest a lot of things. They didn't say that you should limit alcohol. They were just like saying, if you want to celebrate. I'm not even making this up. Like, seriously, it's in my notes, that pyramid. So they're not even giving guidelines for how much alcohol you should drink to be responsible, how much meat, what is the size of the portion. So back in the days when I was a kid, I remember they would say fist for your meat and then smaller fist for your meat. And then it was like larger for like your vegetables and so forth. What is the portion? Because you mentioned portion. If they're not telling us, what is the guideline for healthy eating to marry your strength training and your gym workout?
The key is balance. So having a balanced amount of carbohydrates, of fats, of protein always leads to the best result. If your diet is out of whack, too many carbs, too much fat, too low in protein, or it's just all kind of up and down, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. I believe that the easiest way to find out the quantity, because it's individual per person.
Okay.
The best way to find out quantity is to get a food scale.
A food scale.
and start to weigh the foods, because guess what? 4 ounces of chicken thigh is always 4 ounces of chicken thighs. You always know how many calories you are ingesting. I think that's something that people can really start to benefit from. It's like a cheat code when it comes to losing body fat, using that food scale.
What do you think about, like, as it relates to nutrition, apps like MyFitnessPal and certain other apps? Would you suggest our listeners to download apps so they could be accountable and seeing, put their weight and so forth, and how much they should be eating for the day?
Absolutely. So back in the older days of bodybuilding, we didn't have any of this stuff. We had to figure it out. Nowadays, it's much easier in terms of tracking. So you can get an app like MyFitnessPal. You can put in 4 ounces of chicken thighs, 1 cup of brown rice, or whatever you're eating, and know the exact amount of calories that are going in. When you track these calories over a week and you're hopping on that scale every day, you can start to see the trends of half a pound to a pound down over a week. If you can repeat this over time, then your goal becomes manageable, it becomes doable, and you'll eventually get there.
Let me tell you, MyFitnessPal is my joint. Okay,
Yes.
what do you guys say in Philly? My John? It is that, okay? New
Yeah, you gotta say
my
John.
joint. How do you say it?
You gotta say John. You said joint.
Oh, no. I said in New York it's joint, and you guys.
Okay. In New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because MyFitnessPal really helps you be accountable, but you'll literally reconsider having something because you see how many points you've used up based upon what you're supposed, not really points, but how much you're supposed to eat, right? For the day, your calorie intake. I want to talk about also alcohol because, it's dry January. Theoretically, people are doing the dry season of abstaining from alcohol for the month of January. I am definitely not practicing that, but I do know. I just like to keep it real. But what are your thoughts about, like, as you work out and have this regimen that you abstain from alcohol? Did you do that as a master trainer, sprinter, candle maker, all those things?
A candle maker. That's a new one. So I don't drink, I don't smoke. I've always been that way. When we're putting this in terms of progression with your physique and performance, especially with your physique, we have to look at what alcohol delivers. It delivers extra calories.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when people say, well, I didn't eat that much food today, I don't know why I keep gaining this half a pound to a pound a week. I don't know what's happening. Well, what's happening is that the drinks are starting to add up throughout the week. The extra 120 calories here, 120 calories there. Your body's still absorbing this. So when it comes to alcohol and just drinks in general that have calories in them, that's what can derail a lot of folks' fitness programs, especially if they're not tracking exactly what's going in.
And quickly, before we get into the plank, and I have that, my producer Fahim sent me this article from CNN talking about how people gain their weight back after, that never changing their habits, their eating habits. So, the water weight is gone, but then all of a sudden, after everything settles, I like to say the dust settles, then the body begins to show up and you gain back all that weight. And whatever you lost, you probably have doubled it. How can we course correct and pivot from that in 2026?
So the same thing I said about 5 minutes ago. You've got to start to track the calories. Also, a lot of folks are scared of the scale. They don't want to hop on. They don't want to see the truth. They're like, I'm not hopping on that thing. When you start to hop on the scale on a daily basis, you start to see the fluctuations in your weight. When you can match that to your calorie intake and how much you train, you can find out just how many calories it's going to take for you to lose half a pound to a pound a week over time. So that tracking, that accountability, that looking in the mirror is what can get people over the hump.
Yeah, that pivot. And then let's talk about the cost, Fitman, Fademan, you're the CEO of Fitman Performance and Physique Center. This is a season, of course, when people are coming through the doors and they are energized and ready to invest. What should people anticipate investing for a personal trainer? Just a scale, not what you charge, but just a roundabout, number. So they have a bar to know.
Well, the game has changed in today's culture, because when I first became a personal trainer, there weren't as many group training options. All right. So there's a lot more group training options that are more affordable than, say, one-on-one or small group personal training. So I'd say definitely expect to invest a few $100s a month.
Definitely.
Maybe 200, 300 for some of these group classes. Now, if you're going to invest in semi-private or a more individualized program, it's definitely going to cost more.
It's going to cost more. We're going to do a plank, and I want you to do what you do. Give us our motivation, how people can connect with you, and what we need to hear. That, I think that's what this part is, a salient part, because it's coming from you and your messaging. So we're going to plank. And Fitman, I have to tell you, the scale is on point now for me. Little space. We for a plank. Fitman, it's all on you.
Okay, so Philadelphia 2026. A lot of folks set a lot of New Year resolutions. Many of them fail because there's nothing attached to them in terms of accountability. So we have to do a few things this year in order to make sure that we can actually reach our fitness goals. The first thing, we've got to set specific goals. So no more I want to lose weight, no more I want to get stronger. Let's put some actual numbers behind it. I want to lose 10 pounds of body fat. I want to deadlift 315 pounds. Make it measurable and objective when it comes to trying to reach your goals this year, because when you do that, now all of a sudden it has legs. There's something attached to it. If it's broad and it's general, it's easy to walk away from. There's not a lot of accountability in a broad goal. And the second thing is that you have to prioritize it. You got to do it. This is the time to do it. Okay. Like Karen said last time, if you're prioritizing the Eagles and the Sixers and the concert and everything else except your health, by this time next year, guess what? You're going to be in the same boat, having the same conversation. So this is the time, this is the year. Your health, your fitness, your strength, that comes first.
Hold on. I think Fahim forgot about us, because that's like a 2-minute plank.
She said that's a 2-minute plank. Well, you can handle it, though.
I could
You can handle it, though.
When I was in yoga training, I could do a 4.5-minute plank, okay, next to the 22-year-old next to me. So don't come for me, Eric Fitman Brown.
Listen,
I got this.
Listen,
morning.
You can handle it. I'm impressed. Yes.
Oh my God, you've got to come back. Well, you will be back in February.
Absolutely,
and maybe
absolutely.
We can, go to our website, because we have Ready, Set, Growth, where it's a contest. It's amazing for small business owners. Your company would be so perfect for that. Just check it out. It's a contest. I know if you're a master sprinter, this, you can do your pitch. I mean, because this is what we need, right, in our community.
Absolutely.
Wellness, fitness, nutrition, but also accountability. So for Sunrisers, give it up for Eric Fitman Brown, CEO of Fitman Performance and Physique Center. I got to go, but you're going to do a video for us. Have a great weekend, everyone. Peace and love.
Have a great weekend. Thank you, Karen.